51 over here. I hope you're having a splendid day wherever you are in the world. And guys, you have read the title correctly. Can we set a world record today and achieve the biggest achievement ever since my YouTube channel has started, which February month was 3 years. Guys, this can legitimately be my biggest achievement yet. So before we do anything, drop a like down below on the video to send your luck my way, and let's get this going. The previous time you guys saw me on this track was with the 2003 Williams FW25, which still is the world record holder for the fastest Williams FW25 around the Azerbaijan track, the Baku City Street Circuit. But today we are going for gold. We are in the 2004 Ferrari F2004, and we are going to see if we can beat a 1 minute 41.132. Now guys, throughout this video, I'm going to take you guys through the whole process. This wasn't a day or two or a week. This was 2 months of grinding it out. And you guys are going to see the end result at the end, but I'm not giving any spoilers yet. So, guys, this was a lot, and I mean a lot of grinding. The total amount of footage that I had when I started editing this video was more than 8 hours worth of footage, which I recorded. Now, obviously, you guys are not going to see even a tenth of that footage. I mean, you guys are literally, the video is, what, 30 minutes long? You guys are only going to see the highlights and the down lows of this video. But here is just the first time where we try and beat the Williams time. And guys, this is where I realized I was on rails with that Williams. It really, really, really was a competitive time. For those of you guys that want to check out that video, it is the final video of my vintage F1 cars. I did a little series where I drove every single one of the vintage F1 cars on a track which it has meaning on. But I'll also link that episode in the description down below. So please go check out that episode. It's such a very short one. And also make sure to go check out the other links in the description down below. Now you guys can see here, we're heading through the caster section. And this is basically me just using my base setup that I usually use on the F1 2020 cars, and this is also the exact same setup that I used on the 2003 Williams. So you guys can see there, through that little left-hander, I actually hit the wall. Now usually when you hit the wall here around Azerbaijan, it invalidates your lap immediately. We are within time trial mode, by the way, and it didn't invalidate my time, so I just kept going, even though in my personal opinion, if you hit the wall on your lap like that intensely, you need to be realistic. If that was a real scenario, the car would have been in pieces. So that does really not count, but this is the first time that I beat my lap in the 2003 Williams. We set a 1 minute 42.214, and that pushes us all the way to 21st in the world on the leaderboard. Now guys, this leaderboard is for PlayStation only. It's PS4 as well as PS5. I've actually asked one of my friends who is a PC player on the Formula 1 game to send me the screenshot of PC players, because I would like to see how close I get. And guys, remember, I'm on a pad. I'm not on a fancy wheel setup or something. I'm literally on a controller still. So there's always a disadvantage from a controller to a wheel. People can say whatever they want, there is a disadvantage. You guys quickly saw there how I tweaked the tune setup. There was a lot of tune changing throughout throughout the attempt of this world record. You guys see, this is now where the mistakes start creeping in, and there's a lot of them. Here is a nice little Charles Leclerc moment. Well, ooh, yeah, that's a little bit worse than Charles in my opinion, but that was the first big set of mistakes. Now guys, this also is still on the first day of recording when I decided I want to try and go for this. I also want to thank Ethan Olsen, my friend who actually encouraged me to start the YouTube channel, for encouraging me to try and do this. You guys saw that quickly. I did a quicker lap and I went to 16th in the world. But just quickly to finish talking about Ethan, he really pushed me to keep going for this. And I'm really grateful because he forced me to get out of my box, to get out of my comfort zone. And like I said, guys, this was literally 2 months worth of grinding, and you guys don't even know if I made it. We'll just have to see. You guys see, once again, we did a few more tweak setups, tweaks on the setup, and as you guys can see, this is still day one. I will keep you guys updated on how long I was busy like recording and going for attempts. But this is still on day 1, the first day that I started doing this. You guys can see beautiful run there through the castle section, just skimming the walls. Not really, but I was so close to them, running wide coming out of the castle section. And to not have my lap invalidated, I backed off of the throttle so that I wouldn't get a lap invalidation. And here we still go. We're still 2/10 up on our time. We mount that curve very aggressively. We keep the car under control. Very nice run through there. We're up by 3/10 into this final way, basically the final corner of the track. We go purple middle sector. It's our best middle sector yet. And now we head all the way down this endless back straight with a little flat out chicane in between, and here we get onto it. It's got a little bend in it, but I mean, in any racing car that would be flat out. Not the chicane, that little kink, not the chicane, definitely not the chicane. It's barely flat out in F2 cars, in F1 cars always. Across the line we do a 1 minute 41.750, and that elevates us to P7 in the world. So we are within the top 10. We are within the top 10, and this is where I realized there's really potential. I can do this. But guys, realize the quickest time in the world is a 1:41.1. We've still got more than half a second we need to gain. And when you do time trials like this, people think, oh, half a second, how much is that? Guys, in Formula 1, that is a stupid amount of time. And when you try and perform on this level, it is one of the hardest things to do. To get a 10th better than your previous lap time is already a massive achievement. To try and gain half a second, that's on another level of complexity. But we are up on 2/10 on our previous lap time. We went purple first sector, and obviously every time you go green in a sector, it's obviously going to be purple because you are currently the only car on track. I mean, it's time trial. Beautiful run through the castle section, a little bit slower than my previous run, but I tried to go slow so that I can get a good exit coming out of there. And there you guys can see it jumps back up to 3/10, nearly up to 4/10 as we head out through this flat out leftwards bending part of the track. Once again, mount this curve very aggressively, but I do not have as good a run as I did with my previous best lap. We now finish the second sector. It's also green. We are still up by just over 2.5 tenths, and now we plant the power all the way towards the line. You guys can see I try and put in as minimal as possible steering input so that I don't scrub off any speed, because straight line speed with this vintage car is everything. These cars had built-in traction control, so even with me driving without traction control, there is still a level of traction control. And the way to get lap time with this car is to minimize the traction control as much as possible so that it doesn't kick in. And that is a very hard thing to do, but that is basically what we're going for. Now here you guys can see the lap I just set, the 1:41.486 I think it is, but I know it's a 1:41.4. That elevated us to 4th place in the world on PlayStation around this track with vintage cars. So we are now into 4th position, and here's just a nice little cinematic view of how the lap looked, so you guys could see on the replay cameras that I was really on the freaking edge here, and I still have got more than 3/10 that I need to take off my time if I want to have any sniff at that world record. We quickly jump onto an onboard view so you guys can just have a little bit of what would be an offset halo view with the modern F1 cars. Beautiful run there through the left-right chicane. And also the thing with Baku is, guys, because when you hit a wall, your lap gets invalidated, or in other words, deleted. Because it's a city street circuit, you need to get so close to the walls that it actually gives you a bit of anxiety. I'm not even gonna lie, because the closer you are to the wall, the closer you are to a lap invalidation, and that is excluding corner cuts. And there are places on the track to get corner cut penalties. For instance, this very corner, you can get a corner cut, a corner cut invalidation. Let's put it that way, not a corner cut penalty, a corner cut invalidation. So yeah, now guys, this was all day 1. So within 1 day, I got myself to 4th in the world. But this is where the good news basically stops, because this is where it got exceedingly tough to gain. To find more time. There's a time once again on your screen, a 1:41.486, and that is good enough for 4th in the world. Okay, now you guys can see the weight distribution with these vintage cars. You still had weight distribution that you could tune on the cars. Do a setup, weight distribution setup towards the cars. And you guys can see you run very, very aggressive weight distribution for this specific track. Now, guys, the thing with Baku is, like I've said in my F1 2020 videos, Baku is a track where you need a lot of straight line speed like Monza, but because you've got such a technical middle sector, you can't just take off all the downforce, because then you're going to be a sitting duck in the middle sector. So to get the balance of aero and suspension for this car, just so the car would actually grip in sector 2, as well as the higher you run your weight distribution, the more you put it to the rear, the easier the car oversteers. But also, putting the weight distribution towards the rear makes the car corner easier. Like, the car has got more turn in, but you've got the problem of oversteer on corner exit. So let me put it this way: corner entry with high weight distribution put to the rear. Oh, I am stupid. Literally, I told myself that while that happened, because this is about not even day 2. This is like about 2 weeks into me trying this, and I'm still 4th in the world, by the way. But with weight distribution set to the back to a high setting on the game, corner entry is phenomenal, but you have to have a very, very smooth, like, you look at, guys, look at that. I mean, I literally nipped to the wall and I invalidated my lap. That's the problem with Baku. On certain places on the track, if you nip the wall, instant invalidation, like it was there. In any case, while you guys quickly watch here, I think this is also a time where I actually betted my best. Oh no, that's another mistake. Here's, I think, where I actually go a bit quicker. Not the point. So with the, can I finally finish talking about the weight distribution? When you put the weight distribution to the rear, corner entry, phenomenal, but you have to be so smooth with your throttle inputs on corner exit, because even though this car has traction control, you still need to manage the rear end. And with it having traction control, your throttle inputs need to be more precise, because you still need to control the amount of traction control that kicks in for the car. So it's not just trying to not make the car's rear end be tail happy, you also have to control the traction control. And once again, I remind you guys, I'm not on a wheel. I do not have a massive pedal that I can, comfortably, it's tune and everything. So I've got a big space to press it down or lift it up with. I've got a button, I've got a pad, I've got a controller, I've got a tiny little R2 button that I drive with. So yeah. This was not easy. You guys are going to see, you guys saw that I did go quicker. I'm now down to a 1:41.416, but it's not even good enough for 3rd place in the world. We are still sitting pretty in P4. Now guys, obviously, if the video were to end here, I would be very proud of myself to say that I'm 4th in the world on my favorite track with one of my favorite Formula 1 cars ever built. That's already special to me. But basically, let me put it to you guys this way. Ethan basically told me, you're quicker, you're better, keep going. Guys, like literally 3 weeks into this, I was so demotivated because of the level of toughness that this is. I mean, this is not an easy task to achieve. It's not. And Ethan has just always been someone that has believed in me like almost no one ever. And he just said, you're not settling until you've got P1. And I'm just like, dude, I'm not that fast. And he's like, stop being negative. Keep going, do it. You can do it, you know you can. And I'm like, no, I don't know I can. I don't feel that I can. But you guys know, he just kept motivating me and basically forced me to keep going for this. So you guys need to thank Ethan for this video. But oh boy, this was me being a sweaty man McGee. You guys can see it now. Actually, I think this was about 3 to 4 weeks into me going for this record. It's already been a lot of laps that I've run, and you guys can see we go up by 1.5 tenths. We set a new lap time of a 1:41.255, and that is enough to put us on the podium for the world's fastest time in vintage cars around the Azerbaijan street circuit in the city of Baku. You guys can see here's once again, beautiful line through there, where I just basically mount the curb and I basically fly through there. But you guys can see coming out of the final corner, I lose a little bit of time because the rear end was a little bit, the traction control kicked in because there was a lot of rear end wheel spin. And now, you guys can see it's only 2 laps later. I've just kept pushing, and we are actually going quicker again. It's only half a tenth, but that was like, I can do a 1 minute 41 2.2 flat. So here we go, over the line, we take off less than half a tenth. So we go to a 1 minute 41.211. I think that still kept us in third position. So we were still in third, but here is a view of this lap on board. So you guys can see the whole lap now. I also think I go to a cinematic camera here just for a quick effect. But once again, very, very tough lap, very, very precise. And also one thing that I want to mention, guys, with the vintage cars, I feel to a certain extent your aerodynamics setup, like the front and the rear wing, needs to be on a bloody point, because these cars have got so much less downforce than modern F1 cars. The amount of wing you put on makes, instead of making a less of a big difference, it actually, to a certain extent, on tracks like this, makes a bigger difference. So I just, it was really, really tough to find that perfect little setup that just made me feel like, yeah, I can go for number 1 now, because I never felt while doing all these laps that I was like, you know, I can finally go for that world record attempt. I just kept tweaking the setup, and every time I would go a little bit quicker, a little bit quicker, a little bit quicker. So basically, my setup is everything, and by the end of the video, you guys are going to see what was the final setup that I used and whether I get the world record or not. But you guys can see this is how aggressively I mount that curve. Now, obviously, if you look at that in real live F1 terms, that is corner cutting, but within the game, that it does not see that as a lap invalidation. So that is totally legal, and that is basically what everybody who tries to set the world record on this track, everybody cuts the corner like that. You just have to mount that curve and freaking launch the car over it. You guys can see that, but that was a very nice slow-mo to you, so you guys can see the amount of air that I get hopping over that curve. Now heading towards the line again, obviously you guys saw the lap time, beautiful lap time, but it pops up on your screen once again, a 1:41.211. Now you guys saw the world record was a 1:41.132, and guys, yeah, I only did this for the video, but session 2 is complete. This was not session 2, this was like session 60. But as you guys can see, so close, but yet so far. And a few weeks and multiple sessions later, I was still crying inside, because I sat on this time for about 2.5, 3 weeks. Yeah, literally almost towards the end of my 2 months. Now you guys can see this was about a week ago, where I went and did this lap. So you guys can see, well, this section of runs, I'm up by a little bit, but I have that's the wall. But you guys can see, I've finally started to figure out where I still need to gain. And there was a few corners where I needed a better exit, or certain things just needed to happen for me to get that time. I knew the possibility of the world record was there, but I literally needed to do I'm not gonna lie, guys, I needed to do a freaking Fernando Alonso type lap. Like, not even, it needed to be absolutely perfect. And one thing that you know, if you're a motorsport fan, okay guys, look at this, né? I'm not even third anymore. Somebody went and set a quicker lap, and it's down to a 1:41.0. So I'm not even third anymore. That was very much demotivating towards me. But coming back to the story that I was saying about, that I need like this perfect lap. You guys can see, tweaking the setup, I'm 9/10 off of my time. I was just like, what? I used that setup to like get into the 41.5s and 41.4s, and now it doesn't work. You guys can see I'm going crazy with the setup. You're just trying everything and anything. This was when desperation started to kick in. But basically, when you are a racing fan, you must have heard the quote before that says, there is no such thing as a perfect lap. And even the 7-time world champion himself, Lewis Hamilton, says there is always more time to gain. There isn't something like a perfect lap. So you guys need to realize how demotivating it was sometimes when I hit the wall, or I just have a little bit of oversteer and I lose a tenth. Because I needed the lap to literally to be as near perfect as possible, and it's just so hard. Here you guys can see I'm 2.5 tenths up on my time. I've got the world record as far as I'm concerned, and I cut the corner. Cut it too much. I got over greedy, and like it says on screen, many frustrating hours and days later, I tried again, and guys, this was literally yesterday afternoon. I'm not even joking. No, I'm lying. This was about a week ago. Yesterday afternoon was when I did my my final attempt when I just said, if I get it today, I get it. If I don't, I don't. And then I'm done. And that was yesterday. But this was about a week ago. So here we go through the castle section. Beautiful run through there. Once again, very, very close to the wall. And you guys can see I've got that 10th in hand the whole time on the top left of your screen. I keep having that 1/10, and here all of a sudden it jumps up to 2/10. But here is where my heart sank to my feet, because this to me means the lap is not legal. Boof, hit the wall, and for some other reason the game does not invalidate my time. I lose time, so I know that corner I've got about a 10th and a half to gain. Come out of the final corner, beautiful run, I gain a bit of time. But at this stage, I was basically swearing at myself, because I was just like, that lap does not count. This lap does not count. I hit the wall like a freaking truck, and if you were in a real life car in that scenario, the car would have been in bits and pieces. So to me, this lap was not legitimate. But it does mean we take the world record. We do a 1:41.085, and as you guys can see, you are currently top of the leaderboard. I was in first place. But as far as I was concerned, I didn't have the world record, because that is not a legitimate time. And guys, this is where I told myself, think of your hero, just find your inner Fernando Alonso. It is now or never. And this was yesterday. I literally looked at this picture and I was just like, it's now or never. Get your act together. If you don't get the time today, it's over. It's over. It's over. You classify yourself as fourth in the world, and that is it. So guys, my final lap. Enjoy it. No commentary. Just enjoy.
Was a 1:40.9.
Hey, shooting. I made you look.
You a slave to a page in my rhyme book. They I made you look.
A world record holder here on Turbo Fox Races. And guys, I know I always say we, but you guys as my audience are a part of this as much as I am. We have set a world record lap time on F1 2020. This has literally been a bucket list item of mine. One of my bucket list items was to set a world record on any of the F1 games, because F1 is my passion, guys. And I mean, it's happened. I've achieved it, and once again, thank you so much to Ethan for keeping me motivated and just telling me you can do this. You've got the pace, you've got the speed, you need to do this, guys. don't just like and subscribe if you are new. Share the living crap out of this video. This is literally my biggest achievement ever. Ever. When it comes to my YouTube channel, this is my biggest achievement yet. So please, guys, click that share button and share it on every single one of your social medias. I ask of you so nicely. And guys, I mean, this lap, this car was on freaking rails, and this happened yesterday. Literally yesterday. And after this lap was done, I literally went out of recorded everything that I wanted to, went out of the game, and I edited the video. You guys are literally getting this video now, which is tonight. It's just more than 24 hours later. So at this stage, I've checked the game today. I am still first in the world, and I am the only person in the world with this car to set a sub 1 minute 41 lap time. If you guys didn't see, it's a 1 minute 40.9. The only person in the world on PlayStation to do a 1 minute 40.9. I am more than 0.2 of a second quicker than Macho 1975 in second. This was absolutely phenomenal. As you guys can see, a total of 15,711 players have tried to do a time here, a representable time around this track. And we are number 1 in the world on PlayStation. I am over the moon. Guys, if I tell you guys, I feel like I can go run a marathon to the top of a mountain and go scream. That is how excited I am about this. But guys, 2:10. You get the world record by 2:10. That's a crap ton of time, guys. But let's run through the setup, guys. My final setup was 1.5 wings. Yes, I ran one wing on the front, so literally Monza type of downforce on the front and a stable rear with 5. 64 on the diffs. I felt 64 on and off throttle was the best way to handle the power that went to the rear wheels. My suspension geometry, the oldie but goodie, all the way to the max for the camber and all the way to the minimal for the toe. Heading towards suspension, 1-1 suspension, stiffness, so you can really just mount those curbs, especially that curb in the second sector, that one that I fly over. Anti-roll bars 4.6 and the ride height 4.4, because the car's springs are so well, the suspension is soft. With the bumps of Azerbaijan, the high ride height just makes the car handle the bumps a lot better, so you don't lose time on the straights. Then brake pressure 100% and the front brake bias, that is something that I played around a lot with, especially when it comes to the rear end, guys, and it's 55%. Tire pressures 21.4 for the fronts and 19.9 for the rears, and my final weight distribution was an 11 out of 10. You guys can see I ran a super aggressive setup, and I think it's worth it just to watch this lap one more time, and let me take you through it. Into the first corner, turn the car in, miss the curb on the inside and have a little bit of a mount on the outside, towards the second corner, all the way down to second gear, miss the inside curb and start putting the power down as early as possible, put the power down and just blast it down the straight. And then from here on, oh man, I can't believe I did this. Into the next corner, also a 90-degree left-hander. Brake as late as you dare, miss that inside curb as well as the outside curb if you can. I touch the other curb and have a tiny bit of oversteer. Down to first gear for this next right-hander. Get the power down as early as possible. Once again, the rear end steps out on me, and at this stage, I'm almost 1.5 tenths down on my time. Into this left-right chicane, hug the wall on the inside, miss that inside curb as well as the outside curb. Plant the power as early as possible. Get a beautiful exit like I did there. Into this next corner, mount the curb on the inside, first gear, up into second gear to stop the traction control kicking in. Into the castle section, second gear, mount the curb, over there, into the right hander as close as possible to the wall. Get back to the left and go as wide as possible, but don't invalidate your lap. Plant the power on the way out as you head down this constant leftwards bending part of the track, but it's flat out all the way to the next corner. Then we come towards the final, well, the penultimate corner of this track really. Brake as late as possible, mount the curb on the inside, just try and stay away from the wall on the outside. I nipped the right rear wheel, but no invalidation. That to me is legal because it was a very soft touch. Final corner, turn to the left, try and get the power down as early as possible and flat out all the way to the line. Guys, thank you for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the end. We are officially a world record owner on the Formula 1 game. It's been fantastic. Drop a like down below. I know I've earned it by now. Remember to go check out the links in the description down below. And if this is your first time viewing Turbo Fox Racers, you know what to do. You know what to do. Hit that subscribe button down below and make sure you click the bell and you say all to turn on your notifications. You guys are amazing. Thank you for supporting me throughout this time. We are so close to 200 subscribers, guys. So please share the video. Get your friends to subscribe. We are so close. The next YouTube goal is 250. That's also not far away. Let's get this going. You guys are freaking phenomenal. I love you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Cheers! We are world record holders!
Hey, shooting. I made you look.
You a slave to a page in my rhyme book. They shoot. Me.